Hey everybody, welcome back to Slinging Dirt. Slinging Dirt. We do not have a PG, PG-13, NC-17 MA rating. We are just us. So we got a big show lined up for you today, so stay tuned. It's Matt and Bud. We'll be right back here on Slinging Dirt.
Keep blowing, bud. Keep blowing. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Okay.
Well, whoa. I think I got like Roseanne Barr cheeks going on now. So, hey everybody, welcome back to Slinging Dirt. There's a reason why I'm blowing hard like that. Can you believe this actually happened?
I can't believe it took so long to happen.
So,
honestly,
Beatrice Speedway has come out with a new ruling here within the last couple weeks. They are doing breathalyzer test. So what they're doing is they're taking a random class, and it's random class, random drivers in that. It's one specific class, but they're doing random drivers in that class. You have to blow in the breathalyzer. If you blow in the breathalyzer and you come back inebriated, you are suspended for the rest of the year from Beatrice Speedway. Good deal or bad?
I think it's a good deal because there are a lot of drivers that they'll have a drink or two on the way to the track to kind of calm their nerves and relax a little bit, but at the same time, it's still considered drinking and driving. You're out there doing 100 miles an hour with other cars and you're all bunched up in a group. Something bad happens, it could be because you've had 2 beers or whatever on the way to the racetrack. But at the same time, there's going to be a catch in it.
Yeah.
Mouthwash can trip it, gum can trip it, toothpaste sometimes I've heard can trip it. So how do you know for sure that they've been drinking or not? But I like the idea of it, I really do. I'm surprised it took so long for tracks to do this.
I'm still drunk on
Love with Rachel?
Well, I'm still stuck. Did I just say I'm still drunk?
Yeah.
Wow. But I'm still stuck on the thought that you could be drunk on Crest.
It's possible.
Yeah, I like the idea. I understand that it could be an increased cost for the track. And a lot of the tracks, if not all tracks, don't need any more increased cost in running a racetrack. But at that same point, you know, you have a son. Landon, let's say Landon's 18 years old and somebody goes out there and just does whatever that makes no sense. Come to find out, they are either inebriated or they're under the influence of something. If that was the case, now you've got a criminal lawsuit. Right there. You know, and we don't need people that are inebriated under the influence, like you said, at the racetracks. I applaud Beatrice Speedway for this. I wish a lot more tracks did it. I understand you take Eagle Raceway. We're talking 140, 150 cars weekly. We're not doing every single driver.
Right, it'd take longer to get through that than it would to get through the races. So there is gonna be, do they limit it to, like you said, they pick a class and random drivers, do they only do half of the drivers? Do they do all of the drivers, depending on class size? So they're gonna have to test the waters on this one.
Yes.
As far as the time frame to do this goes, if they can only do 5 drivers a night, that's all they have time for. If they can do 50 drivers a night, then that's what they have time for. It's gonna be a track discretion on how many people actually get this.
You do a drug test. I've had to do a drug test before because of, you know, employment purposes and stuff like that. I've never done drugs. I might, you know, have the occasional beer or two, but I've never done, you know, marijuana or cocaine or heroin or whatever, you know, LSD or meth or I've never done nothing like that, but I understand that there's a cost associated with these drug tests. But if one drug test at, say, $10 a person, if that potentially saved someone's life, it was well worth it.
Right.
Well worth it. Even if they tested 10 drivers at $10, that's $100. you know, at that point, it's well worth it. But I have seen in the last 5 years, I've been to some pretty big race events. One I won't call out in particular, but I have seen some stuff that, yeah, people shouldn't be racing.
Well, and the nice thing about doing a breathalyzer is it's right there, it's on the spot, it's right in front of you. They can show you what you blew, whether it be 0.000 or 0.150 or whatever the number is going to be. But it's right there physically in front of you. You don't have to wait for a result or send it out and bring it back or anything like that.
Yeah, you know, and on that breathalyzer, the machine that the State Patrol or whoever uses, I understand that that's a calibrated machine.
It is. Every 6 months they're supposed to be calibrated, if I remember right.
Every 6 months. How would you know that?
I have a friend on the police force in Council Bluffs.
Good point. So, you know, if they're supposed to be calibrated every 6 months, with that being said, I know that there's a cost associated with buying that machine, but you only blow in a little white tube. That much I do know for a fact. So, anyways, now we're talking, you know, I'm 41 now. That was years ago in my 20s when I had to blow once. And I did not go to jail. I was not ticketed. I was not in no trouble. It was just a safety check in Virginia. But when you buy that machine, those little white tubes are not super expensive little white tubes.
No, and they're not reusable either.
And they're not
have accurate results.
Right. So you know, let's say you spend $500 on that machine. I would imagine those little white tubes cannot be expensive. It's just a plastic straw tube looking thing. Right. You just blow into it, and like you said, it gives you the results right then and there.
And I do have some friends, they have personal ones, Amazon, internet, eBay, whatever, just like little keychains. They're not nearly as accurate, but
they give you a rough idea.
Right. Now, I'm not saying that a track needs to go out and spend $15 or $20 or $30 or $50 on one of these little pocket devices, but if it gets you in the ballpark roughly, I could see where some tracks would want to skimp on the cost for it. I'd still recommend buying the actual machine for an accurate result.
Let me ask you a loaded question. The whole Tony Stewart incident. I hate bringing this up, but the question I want to ask you comes from the Tony Stewart incident. When that young racer, I can't remember his name, but when that young racer passed away after being hit by Tony Stewart, I'm not saying that Tony Stewart deliberately hit him, but come to find out in the toxicology reports, there was marijuana in the young kid's system. Now, marijuana can stay in your system for several days.
It can stay in your system for 30 days.
For 30 days. Now, I never seen how much of that was still in his system, but nonetheless, it was still in his system. In his system, if in your mind, how rigid are you? I mean, you could not smoke a joint or whatever for 2 days, but then on the third day, you know, you could be in that young racer's position where he passed away being hit by a sprint car. Is that guy still liable for his own death?
Every situation is going to be different with that. I mean, it all depends on how it's playing out. Let's say he hadn't had anything to impair himself even 7 days prior to that. It's not going to be in his system. He shouldn't have still been impaired off of it. However, the drawback in his situation is they did find it in the trailer also. So that it can only lead a person to believe he was using the day of or right prior to the race.
Right.
So yes, then he is technically impaired. And with the marijuana standpoint, we were talking with Doug Erickson last week, and he was telling us off camera that there are people out there trying to develop like a breathalyzer type system to find marijuana in your system.
Right.
And that would be another thing that would be nice to come out. I'm not saying everybody uses it or anything, but you're still impaired, you're still behind the wheel of a race car, you're still putting people's lives at risk.
Yeah, the one thing that I've always been curious about, a lot of these promoters know who, the promoters and the racers, we talk a lot. The racers and the racers, we talk a lot. And we're all pretty much an open book for the most part with each other. With that being said, I'm not going to do it right here on camera, but look, if I want to have a nice cold beer, I know about 20 different pit stalls I can go to either before or during the races or after the races to go get beer.
Right.
if I want a little, hit off of a joint, I know of probably 15 or 20 stalls to go to, and I can do that. And I've been told by racers, well, I like to smoke a quick bowl because it calms and relaxes me. That's fine. But when you're at 100 miles an hour on a dirt track going 4 wide, I understand you want to be calm in that situation, but stuff moves so fast that you can't be just all lackadaisical and doing what, I mean, you got to, there's a difference between being calm in a tense situation and just being like, hey dude.
Yeah, I mean, whether it be a chemical substance or an alcohol substance, like I said, you're still impaired. Most of the time it's going to slow your reaction times, so you can either add to a problem on a track or you can be the problem on the track. I've seen drivers out there come to find out they were impaired in one manner or the other. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you wonder why every week you're always in the way, you're always running in the back, something always goes wrong, but it's everybody else's fault. Well, I'm sorry to tell you this. If you weren't impaired, you could probably do a little bit better.
Yeah, there are 2 instances that come to my mind. I'm at a race, I'm not going to name tracks, but after 20 some years in the sport, you and I have seen just about everything there is to see out there. One night I was at a track and a guy goes into turn 3, and the guy that I'm talking about is right here. There's a guy in front of him. The guy in front of him just spins out, just loses control, spins out in the corner. Well, when he spins out in the corner, this guy just went right into the driver's side door, powered up, accelerated, rolled this guy, and the guy behind, the guy that rolled, literally drove up over like a monster truck. The guy comes into the pits, come to find out he's drunk, laughing about it. That is a damn good way to get someone killed or seriously injured.
Right.
I was at another race event. A racer, I'm walking by a car in a lineup shoot. I couldn't believe it. And a guy is drinking a Bud Light in the driver's seat. Now, if you're in a lineup shoot, getting ready to go on the track, you're going to do something serious at those kind of speeds and you're drinking a Bud Light. Do you think that's the first Bud Light he's cracked for the day?
I was just going to say that. If he's got enough courage to do it in a lineup shoot, that's not the first one he's had that day.
No. And I understand that the tracks are going to go, well, Bud, you need to come say something to us. You need to come say something to us. But in racing, if you start doing that, then you're the little narc. You're the little snitch. And, guys don't want to be that guy. I understand it's our sport and we want to protect ourselves. But I'm surely not going to walk around to 100 different pit stalls and go, hey, Matt, you been drinking? You been smoking?
Right.
You been shooting up, doing whatever?
Well, even if you talk to the promoter about it and you tell them you want to stay anonymous and they agree you can stay anonymous, but it's just verbal, who's to say that next week it's not going to be, Buddy Ray Jones was going around telling us about this, or Matt Dennis was going around telling us about this. Just because it's verbally, I want to stay anonymous, that's where, let's say, a disclosure comes in, where you come in, you sign it, they ever mention your name about it, there could be a issue with it.
Well, I talked about being the whole anonymous thing. There is kind of a little dirt track rumor mill in dirt track racing. I mean, some of the stuff that I've even told you in the past, we both chuckled about. The whole anonymous thing, what's going to happen is, oh, well, so-and-so said you said it, and you're going to be like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
That's the only problem I see with the whole anonymity, or the anonymous thing. What's it called? I can't pronounce that word. Maybe I've been drinking something. I don't know what's in that Dr. Pepper, but woo-wee. So I tell you what, I'd like to hear your guys' opinions. What do you think? Should there be more drug and alcohol testing at the tracks? Kudos for Beatrice Speedway out of Beatrice, Nebraska for stepping up and doing that. I think it's been something that we've needed for a long time, but we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we'll be right back here on Slinging Dirt.
Hey guys, I'm Jeff with DriveDirtCars.com. Does your current race operation look like this? Well, if it does, give us a call at 815-990-2657. We're actually financing Harris Race Cars and CMC Crate Motor Connection crate motors for your racing operation. Our payments range anywhere from $200 to $350 a month. If you'd like to get a new motor or you'd like to get a new chassis, give us a call, 815-990-2657.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Slinging Dirt. So now that we've sobered up here in this turn, I had to. Captain Morgan stayed home this morning, so.
Let me guess, did helping you sober up consist of drinking plenty of fluids?
Yeah, especially in this heat, which is something we're gonna talk about. We've been, here in the Midwest, we have been enjoying one hell of a beautiful spring. I mean, if you think about it, it hasn't been super hot. It's been upper 60s, low 70s. We haven't even seen that many days where it's been in the upper 80s.
No.
But this week coming up, ooh, we're almost 100 degrees.
Yeah, they're calling this current week, which is now last week, watching today's episode, everybody, mid to upper 90s.
Yeah, and that's gonna play hell on our race cars, but it's gonna play hell on you. So, you know, I understand everybody's gonna wanna enjoy that ice cold beer. Wait until after the features to enjoy the ice cold beer. Hell, I'll even have one with you. But with that being said, a couple things that we gotta go over. Drink plenty of water. I mean, I have seen firsthand for years, you get out here when it's 90 some degrees, you know, it's not 90 degrees in those cars. You got your suit on, your gloves, your shoes, your helmet, you got all that on, and then you're racing on the track, and God forbid you're in a caution, and you got all that exhaust blowing back on, on you. It's just getting hotter than hell in that car. You know, if it's 95 degrees air temp, I can bet you go to ID Speedway down there inside that bowl where there's no air circulating. Oh, I bet you it's a $110 down in there.
Right. And whether it's water, Gatorade, Powerade, lemonade, something like that, as long as it's not a caffeinated beverage, typically you'll be all right. I mean, the caffeinated beverages do play hell on a body, especially in the heat.
But they taste so good.
Oh, I know.
Mountain
I
Dew.
got one with me. But as long as it's not caffeinated, everybody, especially water, Gatorade, Powerade, with the electrolytes, they help you keep going too. And if you say you don't have room in your cooler for it, we'll leave one of those 12 packs of beer at home and throw a 12 pack of water in there.
You know, the one thing I would highly suggest is, yeah, if it's 95 degrees out today, don't drink pop all day long and then 2 bottles of water before the feature and call it good.
Right.
I will tell you, last year my wife Rachel came down on me hard, and I know you've been in my race shop. I got the little mini fridge. That thing is stocked full 9 times out of 10 with water.
Right.
And the one thing I can tell you is I drank a lot more water during the week leading up to the race night. You know, we raced Denison this year on Friday nights, and we shoot the show here for Slinging Dirt on Monday mornings. You know, Monday through Thursday, I'll probably drink 3 gallons of water. But come Friday, I still have that craving for the caffeine and the syrup flavored Dr. Pepper that I've always had. You know, and I'll still enjoy a soda, but you gotta balance it out with a lot of water. Another thing that, come to find out, works really good. So Gatorade has a lot of sugar in it.
Right.
And they don't, you know, in the heat, they don't want you having a lot of that sugar either.
Actually, the second ingredient in Gatorade is sugar.
Yeah.
And I know that because I read the bottle last night. My son had me drinking a lot of Gatorade over the weekend.
Oh, one thing that I liked drinking, and it's weird, it's either I'm in the mood for it and it tastes good, or I'm not in the mood for it and I'm like, ugh, is Pedialyte.
Yeah, that's actually true. Even if you're sick, I mean, they tell you give it to a child if they're sick for sure, but even if an adult's sick, you can still take it.
Yeah, the Pedialyte's got more electrolytes in it and whatnot than what Gatorade does.
Right.
Have you ever noticed that if you drink a Gatorade, my favorite flavor is cherry, but if you drink a Gatorade, you ever notice at times it tastes really good and at times it's like, ugh.
Right.
Do you know that's scientifically built into the Gatorade?
Really?
Yep. Do you know where Gatorade came from? University of Florida.
Hence the name Gatorade.
Yep. So the scientist actually developed Florida Gators, the college football team. Their whole athletic scientific department came up with Gatorade. But when Gatorade actually tastes good for you, that's your body telling you that it needs more of it. And so I dare any of you watching this, I kid you not, if my wife was here, my wife would tell you, if my lips are moving, the BS is flowing. But on this particular case, it's not. If you take Gatorade, if you like cherry Gatorade or purple Gatorade or whatever flavor Gatorade you like, get hot, get really thirsty, drink the Gatorade. It's gonna taste really good. But keep drinking it that day. At some point, you're gonna be like, it's not really that appealing. It's not tasting. That's because your body's telling you it's hydrated now. It's got the electrolytes. It's made to do that.
Well, and another thing with drinking Gatorade or Pedialyte or water or whatever, and I've always been told all through elementary school, junior high, high school, once you start sweating, that's the point of no return. You waited too long.
Yeah, I don't sweat a whole lot. You've seen this. I'm the idiot that's 95 degrees out at the track and
suit still zipped up, buttoned up, collar still done.
And I've got long johns on.
Yeah.
That is no joke. Yes, I do wear long johns in the heat of the summer, 2 pairs of socks. I look like an out of place Eskimo down here in the Midwest. So, but outside of us, the other thing that we got to look at is your race cars. This heat and humidity will play hell on your cooling system. I know that because as I'm trying to work on the RZR, I look up, I look at my radiator, and I think there's more caked in dirt and mud in my radiator than what's laying on the tracks of Eagle Raceway, I-80 Speedway, and Crawford County Speedway. You've seen it.
Yeah.
And honestly, it doesn't necessarily mean that I have a poor maintenance program. It's just one of those things, and everybody overlooks it from time to time.
We just cleaned a radiator out 2 weeks ago.
Actually, we did.
Yeah, well, I guess now it'd be 3 weeks ago, but yeah.
I forgot about that.
Because we had last weekend off.
Yep.
But we've actually cleaned it out, and most racers know this. Clean them out, clean them, make sure they're clean.
Yeah.
Helps keep your temps down, motors run better, so on and so forth. And most guys, they'll even do it right there. Oh, we're washing the car. Last thing we do, we'll do the radiator real quick. Wash it one way, wash it the other way, make sure it's clean. But another way to keep the radiators clean is put screens in front of them.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether it be a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch mesh or it be just a normal house screen, just something to help block some of that dirt off of there.
When you mention screens, the one thing I really like on my cars, if you go get the original style screen door screen, that grayish screen, that can tend to rip. Right. It's little metal strands and a dog can claw or whatnot. I went to a Westlake hardware store and it's like a black rubber screen, but it's pet resistant. I have a 100-pound boxer, Cooper, and I actually put it on my screen door and it lasted 3 summers before he could rip through it. But it's a coated screen and I have it in my shop. I gotta find it. But that's gonna go up on top of the RZR. But yeah, the screen by far. I'm not a huge believer in the honeycomb.
Neither am
I just don't understand how in the hell the air can flow through the honeycomb when it can flow through the screen better.
Well, and you can go buy a roll of screen for what, 10 bucks, 15 bucks, maybe?
Maybe.
And you can get the radiator out of it for 2 years. If you want to put it across the windshield, you can have plenty of it for that. I've always just preferred the 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch mesh.
Yeah. We were talking about drinking earlier. That's probably one of the most joyful moments of drinking a beer on the race team is, if you're washing your car, obviously you're done racing for the weekend or racing for that night. So I'll just sit out there with an Angry Orchard and I'll just be like, do, 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 and I'll just be rinsing it out. Probably the best way to actually rinse the radiator out, truth be told, just take it out of the car, put it in a pool.
Yep.
Racer's advice, don't ever do what I did and put it in your wife's bathtub. That's no bueno. Yeah, I did that.
That honestly doesn't surprise me that he did that either.
When your wife walks in and she's like, "What the hell is in the bathtub?" Well, it's dirt. I mean, think about it. Logically speaking, we take a shower to get rid of the dirt off us. It's dirt, and dirt's dirt. So you just...
Yeah, you're better off to just go buy a kiddie pool.
Yep.
And even if you just lean it against the garage when you're not using it, but a happy wife is a happy life. So don't dirty up the bathtub, guys.
Yeah. Tell you what, with that being said, we're going to take a break. We're going to be right back with more here on Slinging Dirt.
Does your car smell as bad as Jamie Songer does? Come on down and we'll take care of you. Where we're gonna scrub all your vinyl, we're gonna clean all your seats, your carpet, everything. We're gonna put a conditioner on it, make a nice shine. It's gonna last for a long, long time. Then we're gonna head to the outside of your car. We're gonna do a nice hand wash with a buff with a nice hand wax finish. Call us at 282-4339.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Slinging Dirt. It's that time of the week. We got the one and only viewer discretion is advised, Mr. Jamie Songer, Adam Armstrong's coolest, best boss, and probably, you know, speaking of Adam Armstrong, he made the Jetstrong hobby stock chassis, right?
Correct.
Did he not win a lot of races?
He won one or two of them with it, I guess.
Yeah, like
A week.
what, a week. And what chassis does Jamie Songer drive? Or what class?
Hobby stock.
Hobby stock. You have a guy that has built winning hobby stocks. So I got to telling Jamie, I was like, why don't you just make a Supreme chassis? You can just see the racing slogan. We change the landscape of dirt racing now. I mean, makes sense. So Adam's got a passion for building cars, and supposedly Adam's quite the hard worker. I think he really likes laying sod though. If you read Adam Armstrong's Facebook page, he loves some sod. So.
I don't even know where to go with that one.
Yeah. But anyways, Jamie Songer last week on Songer Says, he was talking about sponsorships. Now, I'm not going to call anybody out, but, you know, let's be honest.
Everybody at some point is guilty of doing this.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who it is or what the deal.
Yeah. Almost everybody, you know, unless you're brand new and green to the sport, almost everybody I've known has had a sponsor come on board, you know, and then they've never done nothing for the sponsor.
Right.
Any long-term racer, I've seen that happen.
They expect everything to be handed to them, but at the same time, whether it's a $500 sponsorship or a $50,000 sponsorship, and I'm not saying do what the sponsor always tells you to do all the time, but if they say, hey, you know, we got a group of cars this parking lot this day, we'd like you to be there, just take the thing over there, do a little meet and greet, or jump in the parade with some people that they also sponsor.
Right. You know,
plug them.
What's that?
Plug them.
Yep. In my eyes, if it wasn't, and we've known each other for years. If it wasn't for sponsors, I wouldn't be racing.
Right.
Period. End of story. And it doesn't always look like I do everything for my sponsors, and at times I probably need to do a little bit more, but if you look at my sponsors, I try to do something for everybody on my car. I love my sponsors to death, and you know, the one thing I'm pretty proud of is every year I've got returning sponsors every year on the car. A lot of people have noticed that, but in my eyes, a sponsor, you know, didn't have to help you.
Right.
There's no necessity in life for that sponsor to sponsor you. It's not like, oh my God, I'm going to go out of business if I don't sponsor you. or I'm going to lose my house if I don't sponsor you. These guys, or these ladies, or these businesses came forward and said, hey, I'd like to, be on your car, or, you've come to me, let's work something out. At that point, you've got to do something
Right.
with them. I've taken some flack. I have one sponsor, Great Outdoors Lawn and Landscaping. Part of the sponsorship package was during the 2015-16 winter season when we got the snowstorms here, Council Bluffs is in no shortage of people with snowplows on their pickups.
No, every time you turn around, there's another new one.
Yep. So what this guy did is he hired me to push snow. Did he have to hire me? No. And some people are like, well, that's not a sponsorship, that's just a part-time job. Well, if somebody gives me $500, I should do some work to, say thanks. And so I've helped this guy out. But because of that, I got more than just the job itself. And if I had to bet him a nickel to a dollar, I bet you that guy's going to be on the car for years to come because I'm helping him.
Right, and there's always the benefit, whether it be a business to a business or a sponsor to a racer, there's always a trade-off program that you guys can some way, somehow work with. Whether it be somebody sponsors you $1,000 and, hey bud, you want to come over? I've got some work to do around the house. Do you want to come help me with this?
Right.
And I'm not saying you got to be their little slave or their maintenance guy or something like that, but it looks good to the sponsor and it makes the sponsor feel good.
Yeah, I actually had one racer who told me, goes, well, when a sponsorship turns into a job, then that's exactly what it is. It's a job. To me, really, a sponsorship is a job, especially in racing.
You look at NASCAR, post-race interviews, they take their drink of their Coke or their Dr. Pepper or their Pepsi or Gatorade or whatever. That's in their sponsorship clause.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit the camera and you start talking, you got to take a drink of it because that's what we want, because we just gave you a whole lot of money.
They give you a whole lot of money, so Jeff Gordon, I want you at the local Winn-Dixie, Hy-Vee, Super Saver, whatever grocery store. I want you signing autographs, doing this and doing that. That's part of the job.
It's like a stroker race with Burt Reynolds kind of deal. I'm going to be your full sponsor, but you're here and you're here and you're here and you're here.
Yeah.
And we're not saying every sponsorship's that way, because by no means is every sponsorship
No, I've
that
actually
way.
seen some sponsors come up and say, here you go, have luck, good luck, Matt. Just tell me how you're doing. And those are fine. It's all about what the sponsor and the driver are trying to achieve. In my eyes, though, if you come up to me and say, bud, here's $500, if I give you $500, can you do this, this, this? I usually try to make a point. Yeah, you didn't have to help me.
Right.
A lot of drivers, I don't think, look at it like that. Now you also have to look at your image. I've actually seen this. I'm an idiot, but I've actually had my head off the track going, this don't make no sense. I've seen people have charities on their cars, and right next to the charity is a gentleman's club. I'm like,
sticker placement is another very big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and with sponsorships and stickers, obviously you get the smaller dollar amount sponsors get smaller stickers, as most people do it, and larger amounts get larger spots. But especially your sticker placement with a deal like that. And none of us are professionals at this, but that is definitely not professional.
No. Yeah, the one thing you don't see a whole lot of. I thought about this. In fact, you and I were talking about this a few minutes ago, was you look at these election years, what better year to go after sponsorship dollars? I really don't care if you're Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, Ben Carson, John Kasich, or Jeb Bush. You want to give me $25,000 and put your name on my car? Let's go racing.
Right.
And I know a lot of people are going to give me flack. We don't need politics in racing. What do you think dirt racing is? That it's all politics already.
Yep.
But I tell you what, a lot of those people don't understand how much it costs to put these cars on the track. If Matt Dennis has got a car, Jeb Bush or Donald Trump walks up to you and goes, Matt, can I give you $50,000 if you put my name on your car?
Bet your ass I would.
You in a heartbeat would.
I'm not saying I may not go vote for somebody else, but I'd take their money for sure.
Yeah, I'd take their money for sure and wrap the car. So I've always thought that was interesting on election years. Now this year, 2016, is an election year, and we've seen some Donald Trump sponsored cars. I haven't seen a Hillary Clinton sponsored car. You know, when you get the email for the sponsorship, it's probably some fake email anyways, you know, with her email scandal. Ben Carson, he's already dropped out. Bernie Sanders, you'd probably have to pay him to get the free sponsorship. So with Bernie Sanders, anything's possible, but it seems to me when we have tens of thousands of cars and millions of people that watch this, why wouldn't you want to sponsor a dirt car? So, you know, I know you and I have talked about that in the past. And
I'm waiting to see one of them come out on one of the Sprint Cup cars.
Yeah. I mean, they have no problem sending their volunteers to the tracks to hand out, you know, the little round stickers going, vote for Hillary, vote for Donald, vote for Hillary. Just put it on a car and give somebody $50,000, call it good. I know Donald Trump's done that. Donald Trump was at Boone Super Nationals 2015. He showed up unexpectedly there. He sponsored a sprint car at Knoxville Speedway. He sponsored several dirt cars. But get with the right driver, and you get with the right driver, I think that can make an impact in this racing community.
Yeah.
Now, I know, like I said, some people are going to be like, Bud, we don't need politics in racing. Well, what do you think most of dirt track racing is? I mean, but I tell you what, anyways, getting back to old Jamie Songner. Jamie... now,
are you calling him old because he just had a birthday?
What is he, like 57?
Oh, I only thought he was like 62 or something, but...
Oh.
I don't know.
Hell, I don't know.
He still wins races, who cares?
You know, it's kind of funny. How is it that Eric Stanton is driving Jamie's car and has won week in and week out, but Jamie gets in the car and hasn't won hardly anything?
I don't know. How come is it the guy you bought your car from could win week in and week out and you can't win with it yet?
Because everybody wrecks in front of me.
Oh.
But Jamie's had some really good Songner Says videos this year, and I can't wait to see what he's got coming up here next. But, you know, Jamie had a very good point last week with his sponsorship video. Make sure you're doing something for your sponsors. Make sure that you're telling the sponsor how appreciative you are of their efforts. They didn't have to sponsor you. You should want to not feel obligated, but should morally feel like you should do something for your sponsor. They scratched your back, you scratched their back. So, but anyways, without further ado, here's going to be this week's Songner Says.
Warning, the related content may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alright, I know we've hit on this before, but being a claim guy, I gotta hit on it again. So, the claim in the hobby stocks, B-mods, and modifieds in IMCA, I met my wits end. Because when they brought that crate in, they tested it against the best of the best hobby stock motor, which was roughly about $4,500 at that time to build something like that. So it really wasn't testing against a normal hobby stock motor. And I feel kind of the same with the modified, while I don't have a lot of information on that because that's not my class. But then all these crates, I guarantee you, we've discussed this before, but there are more cheated crates than there are cheated opens out there. Guaranteed. So these guys who run a crate can, you know, they're paying $3,800 for a crate. They can turn around and sell it for $3,400, $3,000 after 10, 12, 15 races and keep a new motor and never have to lose it. While us guys are spending anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 to keep a good hobby motor out there to be competitive with the crates. And we can lose it for $550. I don't know if IMCA hasn't priced bare blocks lately, but they're $300, anywhere from $150 to $300 for a decent one. And then you got to buy the crank, the pistons, the rods, the heads. Good set of heads are $500 bare to be competitive. You know, at least $500, maybe more. So I don't get where the 550 comes in. I know it was supposed to be to keep us from spending the 4 to 5, but you threw the wrench in the game with the the crate motor that you need to spend that to beat it. I mean, it makes no sense. So, I mean, my point is, why not make a crate claimable? Or when was the last time somebody protested? And I'm not good on the protest rules, probably should have studied up. But there's a few I'd like to protest and say, hey, tear this one down. I was told I gotta be specific of what's wrong with the motor. Hell, I don't know. I just know it's illegal. It doesn't run like every other crate. I mean, come on. But when they threw that wrench in, I think the crate should be claimable or swapped. And I also think the swap option ought to be there for the claims. If you're gonna claim my motor that cost me at least $4,000 for $550, I ought to get your piece of crap back, because most of you are never gonna make it back to the top 4 anyway. So, I mean, I'm always gonna be an open motor guy because I like supporting the guys that are local or that I know, Juan and Jose down in Mexico, or GM for that matter. I really don't care to sponsor. I call it Obama-lay. You know, Chevrolet, Obama-lay, because he pretty much financed them. But, I don't know. I just think it's something that needs re-looked at or looked at again. I don't think it'll probably happen, but, you know, just my 2 cents, which never really falls on anyone's ears at IMCA, I've noticed.
Joe's Karting is the Metro's fastest indoor karting facility. Come to Joe's to experience speed, join the competition, and ride the fastest indoor track around. Our professionally designed indoor karting track is perfect for arrive and drive racing, race classes, and racing competitions. We offer affordable pricing options, membership packages, event outings, and so much more. Stop in today to get registered for your next race, and don't forget to like us on Facebook for deals, giveaways, and more. Visit us online at joeskarting.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sling and Dirt, where we're wrapping the show up here. Quick few things. Some of the things that we were talking about. Track conditions, real quick. I got to mention this. Check out this picture. The runaway trailer.
Oh yeah.
How the hell does a trailer?
Which brings up a whole topic in itself, not only maintenance on the cars, but maintenance on your truck and trailer.
The ball is sticking out of the trailer.
This blew me out of the water when I seen it last night. I had to send it straight over to Bud, like, look at this.
Yeah, look at this picture right here. We're showing you folks. It's the runaway trailer. Now, we've seen tires, we've seen rims, we've seen tools. We've had stalled cars on the track, but a car on a trailer with the mule runaway on the...
Yeah.
If you're the driver that's on that track and you see a trailer just kind of wheel itself out, what are you thinking?
Hopefully it was at a point in time it was either between features or intermission, because if this happens during the race, that could be...
Somebody's dying.
Yeah, that could be major damage.
I'd like to know exactly how that happened. Well, I'm gonna have to look at, you know how I am. When I get curious about something, I'll look into it. So that happened. I do want to mention real quick, Mike Bennett, Dynamic Drivelines, coming out July 21st, which I believe is a Thursday, the first annual Dirt Dual race out at Knoxville Speedway. We plan on being there for that.
Yep.
That's going to be a huge event.
With cameras.
That's a Hawkeye Dirt Tour race.
Basically, most people know the Harris Clash was at Knoxville Speedway forever.
Yep.
And now it's at Webster City. So the deal with Dynamic Drivelines is it's not necessarily a replacement to the Harris Clash, but it's going to take the spot of the Clash at Knoxville. It's not going to eliminate the Clash by any means.
It's just taking over the spot that the Harris Clash had.
Right.
Harris Clash went to Webster City. That opened up a date at Knoxville, so the Dirt Duel is coming in. Can't wait. I talked to Mike on the phone. It's supposed to have a gladiator-style shield going to the first place guy.
That would be pretty interesting to see.
That'd look pretty badass, quite honestly, mounted up on the wall. So that's going to be really cool. That's coming up Saturday nights. Matt and I, we're trying to coordinate with our kids to have our kids together. So that way, at least every other weekend, maybe we can start getting out and bouncing around on Saturday nights. We might go to Mayetta one week, Harlan, which is Shelby County, the next week, or the next week after that, we might go to Park Jefferson, something like that.
And when we figure out where we're going, we will try to get on the track's Facebook pages and things like that. And through the Slinging Dirt Facebook, we'll let everybody know where we're going to be. If you guys want to come up and talk to us, that's great.
If you guys have any super fans or drivers you want us to interview, we could use them. I don't know if you noticed, no interview today. We're actually reaching out to a couple of drivers as we speak. We're supposed to have one coming up, an interview to come up here in the next week. It's been an ongoing process for about 4 weeks. The kid is just so damn busy, and you can't fault him for that. We don't like bugging the drivers a whole lot, but you know, drivers, if you want to come in, we don't care what class, what sanction, what track. We'll hire anybody. Hell, they got me on camera here, so we'll hire anybody.
And even if it's a deal, if we can't physically meet up, there's still Skype.
Yeah,
there's
Skype,
still
we'll
forms
figure
of,
something out.
Yeah, there's
me.
still ways to get it done. If you want to be on the show, we're more than happy to have you.
Next few weeks, we got the Silver Dollar Nationals. We will be covering that somehow, some way.
Yep.
So we're going to be Silver Dollar Nationals, the Dirt Duel. We would like to try to make the Duel in the Desert again. I have a redemption for that track. I got a score to settle. So I want to go back out there.
You just want to go back to Vegas.
Not really. When you see people that are high arguing with a telephone pole.
No, that's called entertainment.
Yeah, it was entertaining. So, but a whole lot more coming up here on the second half of the season. But I tell you what, we do want to thank our sponsors. So I want to see just how good you are. So you can't look at the screen. So I want to. You say a sponsor, I'll say a sponsor, and see if we can really get all sponsors. So first and foremost, got to thank Joe's Karting.
Right. That's the #1 sponsor that we have for the show.
Yep, number 2.
We have Creative Element.
Yeah.
Our production studio.
Yeah. DriveDirtCars.com. Buy your Harris cars with an engine and a warranty.
We also have Diamond Detailing.
Diamond Detailing. Remember, if your car ever smells like Jamie Songer sat in it for more than 10 minutes, go see Andrew Rice and the guys at Diamond Auto Detailing out of Des Moines, Iowa. Let me see. Some 62-year-old that drives a hobby stock. He owns a, oh yeah, that's right, that's Jamie Songer. Supreme Lawn and Landscaping. So gotta say thanks to Jamie for sponsoring the show. Been on here for 2 seasons now.
Right. We also got a deal with Mike Bennett and Dynamic Drivelines. For all your driveline needs, gear train needs, give him a call, he'll hook you up.
And he's quite dynamic, so. And he's got the Dirt Duel coming up here. So did we cover everybody?
It's everybody that I can think of.
Yeah, we're pretty good to go. Creative Element's going, yeah. So, and we didn't even have to look at that. So with that being said, I do want to thank all the tracks. All
Right.
the tracks, Eagle Raceway, I-80 Speedway, Hancock, Crawford County. I want to thank all the tracks that are running across the bottom of the screen here. You know, with that being said, before we go, tracks, if you want us to scroll your schedule on the bottom of the screen, it's a mere $25 a month. That's it, and we show the next 4 weeks out every week. It's the best way to show 400,000 people your race schedule. They don't have to do any work. You just give us $25 a month, we take your schedule, I give it to Creative Element, and they just run the next 4 weeks along the bottom of the screen right here. So pretty self-explanatory.
Right.
So that's it for this week's episode of Slinging Dirt. Next week we're going to be back. If we can get the driver on that we want to get on, he's on fire.
Yeah, you're going to want to pay attention for this one. You're going to have to check back next week to make sure that we got him, though.
Yeah, all I can tell you, I'll give you a little hint. USMTS racer going late models. That's all I'm going to tell you. We've been trying to get him on. He's been open to getting on. The kid's just been so busy. So, but without further ado, that's it for this week. It's Slinging Dirt. Matt Dennis, Buddy Ray. We'll catch you next week.